We talk about food, we talk about music, with musical dudes. Finger on the pulse, Snacky Tunes.
All right. Easy, guys. Save the chatter for the radio. I'm part of your host, one half your host, Finger on the Pulse. You're listening to Snacky Tunes. That is Udachi and Cathy Erway chatting it up in the studio. That was just Sleigh Bells, who I saw play too much hype and acclaim at South by Southwest, which is where we were last week while we weren't on. Cathy was down there. How are you?
Hey, good. To be back, and so last week was awesome.
Yeah, what were you down there for?
I was doing a book reading for The Art of Eating In at the Interactive.
I'm just kidding. If you look in our podcast,
I've been on this show before
3 times. I know.
Yeah. What's Snacky Tunes? No. So I did a book reading for Interactive Festival. There was a Tech Munch food blogger conference. Meetup I was on a panel for, and then I did a book reading at a local bookstore and also a cooking class at Central Market
What? Well, you know what? We're going to talk a little bit later about the book, and I want to ask about book readings, but let's just talk about South by Southwest for 1 second. Let me pull this track down. It's been really different. This is my 5th year there. Udachi, have you ever been there?
No, I have not. Not yet.
In the last few years, there had been a rise in like late night partying, so it kind of shifted to more DJ centric. But in the last 2 years, the city has shut down the late night parties, and so there's no sponsorship money for that. So this year was a kind of a return to form of just shows.
Oh, really?
Which I thought was like, you know, it's kind of funny seeing a lot of people at 2 a.m. trying to find a place to go have a drink. However, the rest of a lot of us were then up again at like 10:30 going to go see shows, which was amazing. I saw some really incredible stuff. Ben Gibbard played. I don't know Death Cab, if you guys know Death Cab for Cutie, and he did all old stuff. He did a Postal Service song.
Really?
And, yeah,
That's nice.
A Magnetic Field cover, which was kind of amazing. Fucked Up played. Sharon Jones played. Mike Snow played, and Hole played all in one bill. That was for the spin party. So I have to say that it was pretty good.
Yeah,
Did you get
sounds successful?
I really missed out then. Yeah,
Yeah.
I took off right on the first day of music, I think. I had to get back
I had to
here.
get back to rainy, and the weather was pretty good except for Saturday, which was awful and cold. It was like 40 degrees there.
Whoa.
Yeah, when you guys, I think it
For
was like
Texas?
75 here.
Yeah,
this
no, it was
weekend.
amazing
No, it was-
here this weekend.
It was
Sorry to
amazing. I was
say.
just out on my patio the whole time.
Yeah.
They are
Yeah.
essentially rubbing salt into my
Yeah.
wounds. It's a tag team of salt.
There seems to be like a little weather switchover going on. You know, usually New York around this time is cold and rainy, and it was actually absolutely gorgeous. And then on the in your area, it was actually switched around and gone the opposite way.
For me, like, because this is my second time going to South by, and you know, every time I come back to New York, it's like
Burr.
the welcome. No, it's actually the beginning of spring. So
okay,
like,
that's nice.
It transitions really nicely because it's warm in Austin, and then you're back, and
I agree, but
everything's
not
awesome.
Not so much today. Today is a little gross. But I did see, besides the obviouses of like Mike Snow was actually, I don't know, do you know the he did that song Animal. First off, there's no one in the band named Mike Snow. It's 6 guys that play
It's
live.
Meat Cave.
And none of
Okay.
them are mics.
Maybe, but they're pretty much all Swedish except the lead singer, and they were really amazing. It was like a combination of like rock, pop, and dance music that was done actually well.
Yeah, I really enjoyed their stuff. It's got a lot of like that crossover potential, so to say. You know.
Right. Well, the 2 main guys got to start doing like they wrote "Toxic," that Britney Spears song.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and a few other hits for like J-Lo and like that. So those guys know how to write a tune, as they say. But
Between the 6 of them.
between the 6, but well, there's 2 guys, and then I think they filled out and they found an American to sing. Or that's probably not the story. I probably just really simplified, and they're like,
I like
"Fuck
the
you,
idea of
Snacky
6
Tunes."
people coming together at a table and writing. So how should this note? I'll write the next note.
Yeah.
You write the.
I could see that breaking down like very quickly after like they're like, we're in a band, and it's like we
Artistic differences.
Yeah, artistic differences. But yeah, so opening track was Sleigh Bells, who were sandwiched between Yellow Wolf, who is like the new Joel Santana find, which was amazing. Do you know him?
No, I've never heard.
I'm gonna play one of the Jewels and Yellow Wolf track later, but
Nice.
he was really awesome because he just the skinny, like tattooed out dude from Alabama, and he threw every single free piece of swag that he got during the week. Like he was throwing like jeans, individual Converse shoes, beers, passes, whatever he could find on stage, he threw into the audience. So it's like, congratulations to the kid in row 15 and the kid in row 25 who got the left and right green Converse. They were great. And then a couple other stuff I saw, like the OCs. These are, I do so much, I do dance music 51 weeks of the year, even though my roots are rock and roll. So it was nice to go back.
Yeah, it's refreshing. It's
It is.
it's inspiring. You go back and come back inspired and try to attack what you do in a different way because of that.
Yeah, we played a party on a Monday night with the guys from Flashadamas at this place called the 21st Co-op, which is like this hippie commune on the campus of UT, which was awesome. But the next night I was there for this band called the OCs, and there was like 400 kids. They played on the floor, and 400 kids surrounding them, college kids, singing every word. And
Wow.
I was like, whoa. And then later that week, Andrew WK played there, and like 1,000 people showed up.
Jeez.
So you're kind of like, live music so it kind of is amazing.
Yeah. No, I think South by is a good, exemplification of that. It's just I mean, I'd love to go. That's my next trip.
year.
Yeah, next
when
year.
Exactly. You've gone pro, which we'll talk about. And I'm actually going to play a song from a band called The Morning Benders, who we played with at the Brooklyn Vegan Showcase, and then I ended up going to go see 2 more times because they were a really great young band out of San Francisco. And this song is called Excuses. You're listening to Snacky Tunes. Terry Diabolic is not here today. He is editing Dinner with the Band before we go to WMC.
Nice.
Which is very, very exciting since we've never been. And big shout out to Roberta's, Jack Inslee and Rectech. And I need to dig into this salad. And to Fairway Markets, who is our sponsor today. Cathy just winked. She didn't even realize it.
That calzone's calling my name right now.
Here we go with Morning Benders. All right. Keep talking over the end of that music, Cathy.
Sorry.
You know those these microphones get hot.
Crunch,
those
crunch,
last
crunch.
30
Talking about
seconds.
calzone for a
Just
second.
calzone.
Munch.
How's that calzone?
Fantastic.
Yeah, my pizza. I'm
Every
very-
time I'm in Bushwick, I
I'm-
have to go to Roberta's.
Oh, is that a
Wink.
wink?
That's
No, no,
that's
but
something I'm
seriously,
gonna learn
yeah.
how to make calzone like that.
You are listening to Snacky Tunes. I am part of your host, Finger on the Pulse. That was just the Morning Benders song called Excuses, which is great. They have the whole song do the la da la da 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 over the end, and it's a very like I see it like as a first dance type of song with your wife. If
Yeah.
you're like a married young indie kid, type of thing.
Butterfly kisses.
Yeah. Or maybe Greg will just come sing it for you. We have in the studio, we have Udachi of Trouble and Bass Crew and his own independent man.
And Party Like Us. Yes.
as well.
Yeah.
Maybe we reverse those or
Yeah.
stack them or
Yeah.
side by side.
Yeah.
The
BFF.
the diagrams will be online later.
Yeah.
We have Cathy Erway from Not Eating Out in New York and of book fame.
Thanks.
Who's chewing.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I was just eating calzone. The
you
art
give-
of
can you
eating
give me
in,
the art-
which is not going on right now.
The Art of Eating In, :
How I learned to stop spending and love the stove.
I don't get the reference. But I just finished your book last night.
Aw.
And I loved it. It was great.
Thank you.
For those of you who are maybe hesitant to buy blog to books, this one does not stay true to the course. The website is a backdrop, and you do an excellent job of starting with from a financial decision, and then tracing through learning about sustainability,
Yeah.
foraging, traditional meals, and the joy of cooking with friends and family.
Making pizzas.
And making
Yeah.
pizzas. And no knead
Cool.
bread.
Yeah.
Which you name checked about 14,000
No
times.
need bread? What?
Go for
Everybody's
it.
making it nowadays. I feel like since that book's come out, I've been seeing a lot of people making recipes or, tweeting about it or something, blogging about it on their own food blogs. And the no knead bread recipe just opened a lot of people's eyes to baking for the first time, it seems. A lot of people are like, well, if she did it, I'm going to try doing it now. So
If
it's
I am
kinda cool.
correct, the no knead is essentially, it takes one of the more laborious steps out of making bread.
Totally.
And it
Yeah.
just kind of, which people, they want to make I think they want to make their own homemade bread, but it's like, there's so many steps, and they get nervous about messing it up. So
It's like no stir risotto. In
Right.
fact, I need to come up with the...
you should.
Yeah.
And also, it's in the book. It's one of Cathy's first thing that she seems to
Conquer,
find
yeah.
success with,
Mhm.
and then it becomes almost a backdrop and like a must-have on everything else. She's like, I did this, and this, and a loaf of no knead bread. Always spelled.
It's always there, yeah.
That's always hyphenated.
Scientific breakthrough.
I should just call it bread,
Yeah.
Nah, it's got a name.
Yeah.
And it's and obviously it's like it's
easier
different.
than you might think. Yeah.
So the book has been out for a few weeks now.
Yeah.
And I want to know how it's been.
It's been a lot of fun. I think one of the funnest parts is just meeting all these new people who have found it and are reading it, and also seeing friends who've read it. Like you mentioned, I got a text that saying, "Oh my God, I just got to the part where I'm in it."
Yeah.
Like, oh, whoops, I forgot to mention. By the way, Greg, you're in the book.
There's like a chapter.
There's a lot
on
of
us.
that. I know.
It's not just like a mention. You're like, yeah, you're in it, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, so everybody out there who hasn't read it yet, if you know me, you're in it.
You're in
probably.
it, including all the
Yeah.
men that you've dated along the way.
It's been a tumultuous 2 years,
But
it was.
But I like it because I feel like it's a really honest read. You could have shaped your history any way that you can, and I feel like it's pretty true to form.
Thank you. Thanks so
Except
much.
that huge bitch streak that you left out. She slapped kids.
What?
Wait, what?
But no, it's amazing. So now that it's out and you're going on the road for book tours, is that? I mean, I don't
no.
like. What do you do after? I mean, I guess.
I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm just floating. No, I mean, it's been fun because now I'm just, I don't know. I'm not going on a real tour, but I have the opportunity to go places. Like I'm going to a festival in sustainability next weekend in Boston and doing a book reading there. I'm going to go to the Empire State Book Festival in Albany and doing a reading there. I was on South by Southwest, and it's just little niches. And I've always met like really great people so far. Like in Austin, I went to Madison, Wisconsin, and it's great. And I'm also doing a book reading in here again in at Housing Works bookstore on the 31st.
Now, when you do a book reading, like what section do you have a go-to section?
I don't have a go-to section. I've always just created a different theme for each reading, and depending on what the venue is, what the people are, what I just kind of make it up. Like, so for the one at Housing Works, I'm actually going to read with another author. She wrote a book called How to Sew a Button, and we're going to talk about kind of like a home ec for modern day, like urbanites.
Okay.
Like today's home ec 101. And I'm going to make planners out of aluminum cans, like soup cans, and also show them how to make a no food processor basil pesto. So we're going to plant some basil, and then I'm going to mash up some basil pesto.
Is it all right to ask where you got like the actual sort of like the inspiration to start this book? I know it's like a very generic question, but
it's not all right at all.
All right, I'm gonna walk out of the studio right now.
Yeah, no, I wanted to save money and start cooking more, and it was always a hobby, but I just wanted to see if it would be possible to do it in this big city and cook all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I think one of the things, the final thing before we get back to music is, I like the part about your dad showing up to the Bob Seger thing.
Oh, thanks. Pete Seeger.
Pete Seeger,
Yeah.
sorry, even better. That it's interesting how you talked about how parents like don't really know us, and I feel that we've also experienced that too. It's like we picked a path that wasn't necessarily doctor, teacher, lawyer, especially where I came from, and it's nice to see that like that finally in the end when you do have that success, that like your dad reconnects. And how did the
thank you so much. I'm so glad you like that part.
Yeah. I mean you're shaking your head too over here, Greg.
Sorry, small like little thing here. Same thing. I just quit my job very recently, and it took my parents, who are traditional Russian parents, for them it took them a moment to actually like register the fact that I'm quitting like a well-paying job with like good benefits and all of these things that are like provide security for the rest of your life, quote unquote. Right. But and it's just like, but recently they've been very, very supportive. At first it took them like by surprise, and they were a little like hesitant, so yeah. Cool. I know how that feels.
Yeah, it's tough.
Hard.
I mean, I think especially with Dinner with the Band and working at Vice, my parents are like, I don't get this at all. And then like for us, it was like the first time we were written about the New Yorker. They're like, maybe things are going to be okay for these guys.
Exactly. It's just like, you put out a compilation CD.
It's like, what? You have a book now?
Yeah. And then it's like, but that to me, I think rang true, and especially about people who live by their passion and don't see any other type of way. It's nice to know that story is uncommon. So people out there, if you're listening, if your parents don't get what you're doing, but believe in what you're doing, they will come around eventually when they figure it out. So anyway, Cathy, thanks for staying.
Thanks so much, Greg.
I'm going to take you as my date tonight for the Village Voice thing.
Awesome. Can't wait.
Which we will have, we are DJing the Village Voice thing, Choice Eats event tonight, which is 65 restaurants in the Armory. Dinner with the Band is going to be hosting a cocktail hour with the illustrious Sam Mason, mixing up his rhubarb.
Awesome.
His very special rhubarb, and then we're gonna eat like
Yum.
million crazy foods.
I can't wait. Okay.
So 1 second. You are listening to Snacky Tunes. I'm gonna walk this out. This is how it's done. We're gonna play some Julia Santana featuring Yellow Wolf and a Japan Droid song, who are also amazing. And then we're gonna come back and talk to Udachi about going pro, Party Like Us, WMC, and future things. Big shout out to Fairway Market. And here we go with Julia Santana.
I'm on the pavement, thinking about the government. Santana's in the basement, mixing up the medicine. Mixing up the medicine, I mixing up the medicine. I was in the basement, mixing up the medicine. I mixing up the medicine, I mixing up the medicine. I was in the basement, mixing up the medicine. I get jail, jump bail, get jail, jump bail, get jail, jump bail. Join the army if you fail. Mixing up the medicine, I mixing up the medicine. I was in the basement, mixing up the medicine. I get jail, jump bail, get jail, jump bail, get jail, jump bail. Join the army if you fail.
I've been mixing up the medicine.
The game's looking sick.
While I'm delivering the medicine, I've been in the lab like a chemist, just developing my potion. Now it's potent, time to hit him in the head again. Knock, knock, pow, pow. Santana, let him in. I got what you need, bitch. Tell a friend to tell a friend. My label need a hit. If a fiend need a fix, or if a bitch just needs some good dick, I got the
medicine.
You boys dripping whack drops. Y'all should be mascots. Come and see the splash doc. I'll give you a swag shot. Fuck what you're hearing, you should listen. This is rap penicillin, still in the kitchen.
Mix it, medicine.
Young Splash and I'm back in the building. Swagger on 100,000 trillion. Whatever he said times that by gazillion. And that's only half of how I'm feeling. I've been
mixing up the medicine. Mixing up the medicine. I was in the basement. Mixing up the medicine. I get jail jumping. Get jail jumping. Get jail jumping. Join the army if you fail. Mixing up the medicine. Mixing up the medicine. I was in the basement. Mixing up the medicine. I get jail jumping. Get jail jumping. Get jail jumping.
All right, that is just Japan Droids off of their. I need to look at it, but I don't remember. There's Japan Droids, who we played with earlier last Wednesday at the Brooklyn Vegan Showcase, and who we saw a bunch of times, along with the Death and Taxes show. That song is called Young Hearts Spark Fire. And before that was Jewel Santana featuring Yellow Wolf, Mixing Up the Medicine. Yellow Wolf being the main key in there, who we saw kill it at the Fader Fort stage. You were listening to Snacky Tunes. I am one half of your host, DJ Never Forget. Terry Diabolic is out. We make up Finger on the Pulse. In the studio today, as he is setting up, we have Udachi. How's it going?
Excellent.
Yeah. We can do a little bit of time.
Yeah, my battery died, so I gotta let it do that little recharge thing.
Got it. You wanna just yeah. Udachi is part of the Party Like Us crew and the Trouble and Bass crew, based out of Brooklyn, New York, and we are here to talk to him today about going pro, new tracks, parties, good stuff. How are we looking over there?
Good.
Yeah, it's doing its thing. We're a little time.
Yeah.
So welcome.
Thank
We've been
you,
trying to
thank
get
you.
you in here for a little bit.
Yeah.
But you had to, quit that pesky 9 to 5.
Yeah,
Get-
that whole thing.
Get with the rest of us. There's two ways to do it. You can either do like we did, which is start your own company and be your own bosses and be like, I got to go.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
care. It's Monday. Or you can just make fantastic dance music and then travel the world as a DJ.
Yeah, that's the beginning stages right now.
Those are the only two options, however, to do a radio show. Everything else doesn't
right,
work.
Right. Now, yeah, I mean, it kind of began. I actually started doing like this. I worked at a startup for probably close to a year. Then we got acquired by a small company called DoubleClick, and that small company got eaten up by a slightly larger company called Google. So
I don't know.
I've never heard of those companies before, but I did work for them for close to 4 years. And yeah, I think within like the last, I'd say year is when like I kind of came to the realization that like either do music full time or I need to like stop doing it and do like the 9 to 5 thing full time, because like when you work for Google, you can't really have two jobs.
Right.
It's like you come home, you're exhausted from sitting at the computer all day, and then you have to go sit down at the computer again, and do your emails, like do your like DJ emails,
Right.
and then do like the gig emails and things like that, and then do actual music stuff. So like I'd actually have like a work period of maybe like 2 hours to 3 hours before I could just like completely shut down, and like it's just one of those points I reached to. It's just like, put out a couple of singles and DJ gigs are starting to pick up. So I was just like, you know what, give it a try. What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah, you can just go back and get.
Right.
I mean, I know it's not like you could just go back, but I agree with you. Like I went through a similar decision where it's like, I was like, yeah, maybe I'll do the, events and music thing for a little bit, and if not, I'll go. And I was like, I'm either gonna do it,
Right.
and like invest everything and not like have a back door, or
Yeah.
I'm going to go do something else. And once I gave myself fully over to it and just was like, this is all I'm going to do, and mentally as well.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
I also think you begin to find opportunities. Today's show is about following your dreams.
Exactly.
Cathy,
Inspiring.
and
That was
Udachi.
great. That was double inspiring. See that like, she could put her thoughts down in an actual book and sell it and have people be excited about it and actually like get transformed by it.
And
whichever
also,
way.
And also the people here at Heritage and people at Roberta's are all people that kind of went
Yeah.
against the grain. Like I know that we talk about, but Roberta's is currently opening up Brooklyn Grange, which is going to be an acre rooftop farm
Oh really?
in Brooklyn.
Yeah, I see that there's like something going on
Yeah,
upstairs.
there's.
Right?
I know. If you guys all look upstairs, I know none of you listening can see, but there's a rooftop garden up here, and it's actually believe it's considered a farm. I believe the definition is something like if you can sell $1,000 a month or a year, it's considered a farm. So it's a small farm here, and then they're going to be opening Brooklyn Grange. So it's
Nice.
really the big message is that if you're just passionate about anything.
Yeah.
And you have a good work ethic.
Yeah.
You can't just be passionate. But if you apply yourself and you work hard at it and, you do whatever it takes. I mean, we all had second jobs when we were starting off.
Exactly. And I think that's like the thing that at least it's the realization that I came to very recently when I was hanging out with AC Slater, like when you'd like randomly come over like once a week to like Google lunch, for the free food.
Yeah.
Then we just go for a walk and just like talk shit and all that fun stuff. And we he would say like, it's funny like how our generation, like this, like people our age realize that they don't have to be tied down to like a 25-year job. You know, it's like go somewhere and then you go there until you retire and that's it.
But I also think that we also saw like, I mean, I know that watching that recession happen and watching people lose their jobs and getting cut, and you're like, wow, I just dedicated my life to this, and I was just like a bottom line. You're just like, I might as well, and you're like, and I'm totally screwed, and I didn't do anything that I mean that's huge generalization, but like I didn't do what made me happy. Yeah. That it's like, and you read articles about people who are like 50, like starting DJ nights at small bars in Brooklyn because they always wanted to and they finally had to. So it's kind of like, just start now. Yeah. And I feel like the realization were like, because it's kind of pessimistic, but you're like, well, if I'm not going to make any money anyway and I'm going to get totally fired, I might as well do something I care about. Exactly. And now that healthcare has passed, one of the things that I read last night that I didn't even think about, it's like a lot, like you just said, like huge benefits tied to all these things. Like now you're not tied to a job. Yeah. I mean, I know it's not, I know it's that's oversimplifying things, but like now you can just, I mean, that's huge. Yeah. It's
a big thing.
It's
that's
big.
For sure. Yeah.
And to really sink in, and not even now, but people who are maybe 5-10 years younger than us, and once, you know, healthcare gets ironed out and they're like, yeah, you can just do whatever you want and like you don't have to worry about it, because like some people who are sick but can't follow their dreams. So anyway, let's get you to a set. Cool. Let me do a set and then we'll come back. We'll talk about tracks, Party Like Us, WMC. Awesome. I'm gonna do a talk over so you can walk over there. Sure. Set up. Perfect. You are all listening to Snacky Tunes on the Heritage Radio Network. If you like this and what you're hearing, we have all of our old episodes podcasts on iTunes. If you just go to the iTunes store and you go and you put in Snacky Tunes, you will get it. We have guests like Moby, Drop the Lime, Jubilee, Fool's Gold, Yacht, Sharon Jones, Cathy. If you want to hear Cathy Erway's other episodes. So we're going to hear a live set from Udachi. Take it away.
here is the best. Nobody gave a shit, so we taking that life. Yes, I am so super charming, got no problem getting women. My jeans are super skinny, pockets bulging, stacks of paper. I'm sweating, I'm chasing, I'm replacing, cause they come up a dozen. Paper plastic like I'm shopping, yes, I make them crickets coming. Paper plastic like I'm shopping, yes, I make them crickets coming. Paper plastic like I'm shopping, yes, I make them crickets coming. Paper plastic like I'm shopping, Jason make them crickets coming. Nobody gave a shit, so we taking it like yes, I am so super charming, got no problem getting women. My jeans are super skinny, pockets bulging, stacks of paper. I'm sweating, I'm chasing, I'm replacing, cause they come up diamonds dozen. Nobody gave a shit, so we taking it like yes, I am so super charming, got no problem getting women. My jeans are super skinny, pockets bulging, stacks of paper. I'm sweating, I'm chasing, I'm replacing, cause they come up diamonds. Paper plastic like I'm shopping, Jason Lathan, Craig can't stop it. White rope is behind the cockpit. I'm getting it, spinning it, burning it, living it. These dudes that got me using my patience, cause I'm the best period like when a sentence hit. This Steve's right here, I invented it. That's why they hate me still. Look at swag, look bigger than Canadian bills. Look like they smoke grills. I'm making them sick, I'm giving them chills. But it feels really good to be a ninja, cause I'm watching you down like a center. You ain't going nowhere like a splinter. Kiss my ass when they try to censor. Get it, get that. Get it, get it, that. Get it, that. Yeah. Get it, get that. Get it, get that. Get it. Paper, get it, that. Get it, that. Yeah. Get it, that. Get it. Nobody gave a shit, so we taking it like yes, I am so super charming, got no problem getting women. My jeans are super skinny, pockets bulging, stacks of paper. I'm sweating, I'm chasing, I'm replacing, cause they come up. Nobody gave a shit, so we taking it like yes, I am so super charming, got no problem getting women. I love the way she move.
Move it.
Just come over here, pretty girl, and shake up your backside. Just know when you come around, Sarah, that me not go backslide. Girl, I know that you're dangerous, but the little body got me tempted to touch. When you're around, man, I wish you so much, but you're not giving me stuff. You just move over to this fine Sarah, keeping it nice and mellow. And you don't pay them no matter how much you mellow, cause your bumper shape like jello. And I don't know what these guys is thinking. Come around chatting with them breath all sinking. Nervous twitch, that's why he keeps winking. Just making know you're not blinking. The way she moves, moves the way she's dancing in the place. The way she moves, moves the way she's winding up her waist. The way she moves, moves the way she moves.
chocolate chip cookie tonight. You give me some of that, give me some of that. That's right, give me some of that chocolate chip cookie tonight. Give me some of that. That's right. Give me coffee in the morning and then green tea at night. Make sure to show me some good love before you turn out the light. If you want in on this deal, you gotta spin the wheel. You might get lucky with me if you can keep your cookies real. Low water, heads up high. If you wanna keep your cookies fly. Low water, heads up high. If you wanna keep your cookies fly. Low water, heads up high. If you wanna keep your cookies fly. Low water, heads up high. If you wanna keep your cookies fly. If you wanna wee.
Yo, what up? That's right. Give me some of that. 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 That's right. Give me some of that. Give me some of that.
Udachi murdering it on a gray and rainy afternoon. You're listening to Snacky Tunes. I am part of your host, Finger on the Pulse, on Heritage Radio Network. You want to give us a couple, what are some of the tunes, the highly selected?
I think, since it was a 15-minute set, I wanted to get as much in as I possibly could. So I just played a bunch of Party Like Us tunes and triple and bass tunes, a couple of FOMO tracks in there, but I'd say the majority would be Party Like Us jams and other Udachi stuff.
Why don't you tell our dear listeners what Party Like Us is? Party
Like Us is a label that was started up by our dear friend AC Slater, and it's B. Rich, Barrett, and I are also involved, and we kind of have a good kind of creative, sort of decision-making process in the label, and it's great because I think the label started up because we were kind of getting frustrated of taking a really long time to have a release come out,
right?
And we try to have something at least once a month out. If not, then we kind of kick ourselves a little bit. But yeah, we definitely try to get as much material out there as possible, and it's all just basically AC Slater, B Rich, and Udachi stuff,
That's awesome.
and friends, of course,
and friends plus friends.
Yeah.
So you and those fine gentlemen are all going to be heading down to Miami this weekend. Are you excited?
I am so psyched.
Have you been before?
Yeah, I went last year for the first time, and I kind of just hung on to the triple and bass guys because they knew what they were doing, kind of, and it was just sort of hanging out with them and just meeting amazing people, and it's just it's incredible how easily you find that you can relate to a person beyond the internet. Say you have you have you're emailing back and forth, but then when you meet him face to face, it's oh, all right, this person's cool.
Right.
We can grab a drink and just hang out by the pool and all that fun stuff. It's just Miami is definitely it's definitely a bit on the expensive side, but it's definitely worthwhile if you are trying to be a legitimate electronic artist and meet other legitimate electronic artists and musicians and DJs and things like that. It'll
be great
for that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna be hanging on to your coattails because I've never been. What's any one tip to give to a newbie?
From my 1 year experience, I've noticed that it's better to stay by the beach. A lot of people that throw parties that may be in downtown Miami seems a little tougher to get to, and people are kind of a little more wary of getting to it. But when everything's kind of around the conference area, it's just so easy to get to. You can just walk down the block and boom, there's a party. Boom, there's a pool party and things like that. So if you are throwing a party, unless it's White Room and you are DJ Craze or someone like that, I would suggest throwing a party near the beach where you're just guaranteed just foot traffic constantly.
Awesome. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
What are you gonna play us out on?
I guess I'll put on the M83 remix / edit that I did. I was surprised how popular it got because it was just I was actually my first gig at Triple and Bass. I was trying to kind of impress everyone a little bit, and I was kind of oh man, I gotta make a cool edit. And I love M83, absolutely listen to the albums all the time. And I was just that one song that just really stuck out to me. I'm let me check what the BPM on this is, and it was literally 70 BPM, which is the exact dubstep sort of tempo. So I just threw a bass line and some drums over it, and people seemed to kind of wig out for it, which is kind of took me by surprise because it was literally that song was assembled in 2 hours. Because it's just again, I gotta give myself less credit and M83 more credit. All the beautiful melodic things that happen in that track of my remix, it's all his work. I just put a really heavy freaking bass line and a couple of little cuts and edits in the middle of it, and
I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's just amazing how just to observe people react to, because I've I definitely have gotten more of a positive response for that than the work that I've poured blood, sweat, and tears over.
Right.
But that's how it is, and it's it's I definitely appreciate that, and it's good feedback, and it definitely helped me. People know my name by that song, which is kind of cool. Appreciate
awesome.
it. Yeah.
All right, so why don't you set it up?
Chat a little bit.
We'll chat it.
Pull it up.
Yeah. Thank you for everybody for tuning in. Big shout out to our food guest today, Cathy Erway. Her book is out now, and please, as always, go check out her blog, Not Eating Out NYC, where you'll find links to her radio show, word of book, and her speaking engagements. Big shout out to Udachi. Congratulations on going pro. Your sweats will be in the mail. And here we go with We Own the Sky M83 Udachi remix. See you next week.